we want the CIA to be successful, and we want Hindus to arrive in India successfully and live in peace. However, there was a very recent disturbing case again, but this time in Jharkhand in India, of a young lady called Ankita Kumari. She was a 19-year-old teenager who was refusing the advances from someone called Shah Rukh Khan, not the actor, but another boy from her school. And because she refused and declined him constantly, he decided to set fire to her when she was asleep by throwing oil on her through her window and setting her alight. This is in India. And what can India do? We want to bring people from Pakistan to be safe, the Hindus, over to India. But when mothers, wives, sisters, and daughters are still at risk in India, what do you feel can really be done? Because this is, again, not the first time. It's not the last time. It's a point where I've, again, seen how Hindus, where they did first fall to fear, are now angry. How do you feel they could best channel that anger?
It is yet another tragedy, and I think we have almost gotten to the stage where you and I talk about so many of these things. It's becoming a dreadful, dreadful habit, isn't it? A regular recurrence. Yes. So again, I sympathize with the family and empathize with what you're expressing completely. You know, we have, in the Rig Veda, we have some wonderful mantras, and there's one of them which is Asatoma Satgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. And it basically says, take me from the untruth to have a glimpse of what is real. And it says, take me from darkness to light. And it concludes in, take me from a state of deathfulness, Mrityur, to a state where there is the absence of death. Now, if you have a look at what India's indigenous women are experiencing, they are experiencing death again and again and again at the hands of evil men. Now, when you get rid of all of the confusing names and labels and religious titles and communities and groups and everything else, you see quite simply one phenomenon, and that is that evil men are targeting vulnerable women. The state itself, the primary function of the state, in fact, unless this function is fulfilled, the state doesn't have a reason or a mandate to exist. The primary function is to protect its most vulnerable members from evil people. That's why we have armies. That's why we have police forces. And the Indian state is remiss. It's proving itself time and time again incapable of ensuring the safety of its most vulnerable people. It must be remembered that the criminal code has two reasons. It has two purposes. One is to see justice, but secondly is also to provide a punitive sentence which acts as a deterrent. And we're not seeing either of those being implemented in so many cases where young Hindu girls are being targeted. And that is a major indictment. I do not think that the Indian state can claim to be a democratic state, can claim to be a first world state, when it can't even take care of its most vulnerable young girls. I say leave out all of the nonsense about religion and hadiths and edicts and all that sort of stuff. In front of the law, it should be simply evil against vulnerable good. And with that clarity, the state should act. This is probably the crux. This is the pivotal moment. This is the nexus where all these things have come together. And I think that unless this is addressed, the party who have been targeted and victimized for such a long period of time will get to the stage where they feel disillusioned with the state in its current form. Yes. And if they are not seeing an opportunity or an option or a choice which looks after their basic fundamental human rights. Remember, if one Hindu daughter is not safe, no Hindu daughters are safe. If they see that there is no option, then they should actually look at a third option. And I've said this before, I think a contribution, a good contribution to the Indian political scene would be the appearance of a Hindu political party. Now, a Hindu political party would be able to develop a consensus. It would be an indigenous voice, and as such, it would be respected, and it should be respected. And it may well be that a coalescing of the Hindu voice into a political force would bolster the BJP and give the BJP the support that they need, that they would then be empowered to make the changes that are necessary. And in politics, everything has to be considered. So I think that is something that's on the horizon, but is drawing closer and closer to us.
That is a fantastic idea, Panditji. Why has a Hindu party never come forward in India? I've not heard of one. And yes, it's long overdue. You know, it's a good representative of the majority.
It is. In most countries across Europe, you have many Christian democratic countries.
Yes.
The political parties in America, especially the Republicans, they trumpet their Christian affiliations and value systems.
Yes.
In India itself, we have the AIMIM, the Islamic political parties. So there's no reason why that shouldn't occur. And
Yes.
I think if it were to occur, it would only accelerate the cause for ensuring justice and protection for the indigenous civilizational community there.
Yes.
I think it's a necessity.
Absolutely. Do you know if there is such a party in India, or is that something that we need to start encouraging and forming?
I think we should encourage it at every opportunity, and these things are best left to gently, quietly grow and plant roots until the shoots are ready to appear themselves. I'm very confident that the roots are being watered and nurtured and nourished, and I would like to see them really bear fruit very, very soon.
Absolutely. There's a huge gap in the political market for that. So yes, that's a fantastic suggestion.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.